Well, welcome to Stroke of Genius Podcast, Survivor Experience. We've got a kind of really unique and special show for you today. Mitch and I are recording it um, beforehand because we're having a little bit of technical issues. But I'd like to introduce you to my guest, Mitch Axelrod. Mitch, say hello. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, and thank you, Aaron, for inviting me here. This is quite an honor, and I'm excited about the conversation.
That's really good. Where you from, Mitch?
I was born in a little town called Brooklyn, New York. Lived there for 10 years, moved to New Jersey, spent 45 years there. And when I turned 55, I said, I got to go west, young man. I got rid of everything I owned in 45 days and moved to San Diego with 4 suitcases. And that was 13 years ago, and I've never looked back.
That's pretty impressive. Now we're getting in the real story. You had a stroke. How long ago did you have a stroke, Mitch?
March 27th, 2020. I woke up in the morning. I had a little sense of something the night before. And I'll tell you, everybody says when you get a signal, pay attention to it. And I didn't. And the next morning I woke up, felt wheezy, strange in my head. And I said, I think I'm having a stroke. I called my business partner, Sandy. I said, I think I'm having a stroke. I felt disoriented. And sure enough, boom, I fell down. She called 911, got me to the ambulance, to the hospital. I had a stroke. The next day, I found out I had a brain aneurysm.
Whoa.
But it was unrelated to the stroke. So the stroke left me paralyzed on my right side. I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move my arm. I couldn't do anything. And then they told me I had to get a brain surgery the next day to remove the aneurysm. They did that. They came in the next day and they said, we didn't get it all. We have to go back in. So in 5 days, I had a stroke that left me paralyzed and 2 brain surgeries. And then I had to go for 9 weeks to a nursing home in rehab to learn how to walk again, talk again, move my arm. And this was right at the beginning of the COVID lockdown.
Oh, no.
So there was so much uncertainty. You couldn't have any guests. There were no visitors. So it was an amazing ordeal. But they say there was a great quote from Richard Bach, who wrote the book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. He said, bad things are not the worst things that can happen to you. Nothing is the worst thing that can happen to you. And so I look at life from the point of view that something bad happened to me. But my friend said to me, Mitch, you had a stroke of luck because the stroke revealed the brain aneurysm, which would have burst and killed me. And it was said, what happened to Mitch? He was here 1 minute, he was gone the next. So to me, bad things happen, so worse things don't happen. And so I bless the stroke. Certainly I would never want to go through it, but it really did save my life.
Well, it's so strange. I know we talked before. I don't think I ever really paid attention, but I had a brain aneurysm first, and then mine ruptured. Should have killed me. And then 2 weeks later, while I was in a coma, I had a stroke. Unrelated to anything other than the brain aneurysm, a little microscopic blood clot left the aneurysm side, floated in cerebellum fluid, or the fluid, and landed on the brain, caused a stroke, very similar. And you're right, thankfully he didn't have brain aneurysm. That kills that guy. He's like it. The odds of living are very minor.
Yeah.
Very minimal. So can I ask you, did you know what a stroke was before?
Yeah, I knew what it was, but I was healthy. I was fit. I never expected it. I eat a good diet. Something happened in my body that caused the ischemic stroke. All the blood was, I guess it was a clot. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I move forward. I don't worry too much about the past. And I'm happy every day I wake up, I open my eyes, put my feet on the ground, is a good day.
That always struck me as just with you. You have what I call the right mindset to survive and actually thrive after a stroke. So many strokes of ours, Mitch, around the world, they have a stroke and pretty much stop living. And they sink into a dark place. But the key that the reason Stroke TV, I've been like Stroke TV media, is I want people to realize there's a mindset that can actually empower you to find life after stroke. You've done that because you and I met on the C-Suite Network, and you're a businessman,
I'm
entrepreneur.
I'm not only a businessman, I write and I speak for a living.
Huh.
And two things I do for a living, I couldn't speak and I couldn't write. To this day, 3.5 years later, I really can't write and I can't type. I've written over 1,000 pieces of work. I've got 50 different training programs. I've written 3 books. And so writing, I had a connection from my brain to my fingers that was gold, and that was severed. And, at the moment, at the time, I didn't want to think about the future. I think sometimes we project out to if I would have thought 3.5 years ago that I'd still not be able to type, I would have gone crazy. I would have hidden in my house. I would have never come out. I would have thought my life is over. But, I think things like a stroke set you back to give you a lesson that you either accept your situation and you move forward, or you let the situation destroy you. And I can't say how grateful I am that 4 weeks after the stroke, my leg came back. I was able to get out of the wheelchair. I thought I would be in the wheelchair forever. All right. So, as you know, you go through all these mental stories of what could happen and what my life is going to be like, and it's never going to be the same. And I said, I'm not going to torture myself with any of that. I'm going to follow Mr. Miyagi's advice. Wax on, wax off. Okay. Today, I just focused on today. What do I have to do today? And I had, I had 3 hours of therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, then another hour or two in my room. And then I had all this time on my hands. And I said, I have a challenge, not the stroke. It's maintaining my sense of being up here. And it's either going to destroy me or I'm going to destroy it. And I said, there's no way. I think it was, I can't remember her name, Barbara Sher or someone else said there's 5 stages of grief we go through. The first one, when something bad happens, theoretically, we go into denial. Then we go into anger. Why did it happen to me? It shouldn't happen to me. Then we go into bargaining. Like, if you just get me whole again, I'll be good. I won't ever do anything bad again. And then we go into depression. And unfortunately, and I don't know if this isn't scientific, but it rings true. And then once we get through it all, we get to acceptance. It's like, this is what it is. Now let me move forward. I think what happens is with something like this, the mass majority of people get stuck somewhere between denial and depression. I went right to acceptance. I said, okay, this is it. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm not going to feel like I'm a victim. I'm not going to get on my knees and plead to God, why did you do this to me? I am going to be a model of success for other people to see that no matter what your physical limitations are, if you don't allow them to consume you, you can do amazing things. Look at you. I mean, I admire, I just can't believe what you've done. And now you're sharing with other people like we're doing today to give them not just hope, not false hope, but the idea that you really can control your mind. And if you don't feel like a victim, if you don't, I'll tell you one quick story. My brother, when he was in his 50s, found out he had mouth cancer. And he had an operation that literally removed his mouth, his voice box, his teeth, his nasal cavity. For the last 16 years of his life, he spoke through a machine and he ate liquids through a tube in his stomach.
My God.
And I spent months with him when he go through surgeries and he was disfigured. And basically, he gave the big middle finger to the world. He said, nothing is going to stop me from living. And
My
he
God.
would walk out in public and everybody would look at him like he was from Mars. And he said, and he lived more than most people who have all their faculties. And I drew upon his strength when I said, hey, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself because that doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do the people I love any good. And I'm single. So I had to, after the 9 weeks of rehab, I had to come home and take care of myself. And so I think what happened for me was the fact that I didn't feel pity or feel like I was a victim. I had faith that little by little, and when you don't have faith in yourself, you need other people to give you faith. And so I'm paralyzed. I'm trying to move my fingers just this much. And the nurse is saying, you're doing great, you're doing great. I'm saying, I can't move. Okay, I'll believe you. I won't believe my lying eyes. All right. So I put my total faith in my doctors, in my therapists, in all the people. And it really taught me a lesson because I grew up, my dad was a New York City cop. And his answer to everything was, if you need to do something, you do it yourself. Right. So I became very supportive of other people in my life, but I was not very supportable. This situation required me to be dependent and supported by others. And so I allowed myself to receive the care that I needed. I came up with a mantra years ago. I love and serve people, and they reward me with their money. That's how I look at business. I've been in business self-employed 45 years. I've spoken and trained 1 million people. And I always believe that if I love and serve others, they'll reward me with their money. And it was the first time in my life that I actually reversed that and said, well, if I love and serve myself, I will let others serve me because I have no choice. And it really taught me a lot about how to be supportive and supportable and balance the scales a little bit. And now I don't feel as bad asking for help, asking for assistance. So it really shifted everything about the way I look at life, things I don't take for granted. And so here I am 3.5 years later. I'm speaking. The last couple of years, I've been conducting seminars and calls, and I can't write, but I can dictate. And so I would not let it stop me. If my brother can live like he lived without being able to eat and speak and be as normal, I could not let him down.
Yeah, I'm almost speechless because you are the epitome of why I do what I do. Because I wish everybody, because I have a very similar mindset to you, and I want everybody that's out there watching this on the recording or live, really go back and then recording later and watch this part over again because Mitch, you just unloaded so many golden nuggets. I'm going to try to remember. I have a memory deficit, but I'm going to try to remember the first one was. Stroke does not define who you are. How you respond does.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that true? Really, you chose not to let it stop you, not just amaze me. And
It's
then I'm
funny.
going to, if I can, do one more.
Yeah, sure.
Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, both are correct, both are right. And you chose, you said I can. Did you ever go through dark times? Did you ever go through
Oh
the
yeah.
time? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just, uh, you just made a great point. All of life, business, everything, you can sum up in one formula: stimulus, response. You think about everything in your life comes down to that one formula. I don't care what it is, you can bring it down. Everything outside of you affects you. You have a choice to react, get upset, and that situation is then controlling you. Or you can respond. And the difference between kind of life and death, metaphorically, right, is that gap between stimulus and response. And in that gap, you either choose by design, I'm going to choose what I choose by design, or you react by default. Poor me, it'll never be the same. And again, we've been through hell and back, right? We know what it's like. So I'm not diminishing in any way the mental challenges. What I'm saying is you have more strength than you possibly know. There's a great quote by Robert Oxton Bolt. He was a screenwriter for A Man for All Seasons, Dr. Zhivago, Lawrence of Arabia. You heard of those movies, right? And
Right.
he won 2 Academy Awards. But I read a quote of his 15 years ago that knocked me off my chair and made me reevaluate my whole life. He said, belief is not merely an idea the mind possesses. Belief is an idea that possesses the mind.
Oh, yeah. Could you
Oh,
repeat that? Repeat it.
I'm going to, because it was profound and it
Yes.
took away everything I look at. Belief is not merely an idea the mind possesses. Belief is an idea that possesses the mind. So here's my mantra for a good life. When you think about any belief that you have, any thought that you have, filter it through this lens and ask yourself a question. Does this belief love and serve me, or love and serve the people I love and serve? And if the answer is yes, keep it. If the answer is no, ask yourself, why are you holding on to any belief that does not love and serve you or love and serve the people you love and serve?
Wow.
So if you could really embrace that. So I started to look at my beliefs, not from whether they were right or wrong. I said, who owns this belief? Does this belief own me, or do I own it? Here's how I can tell. If you can laugh at it, criticize it, question it, if other people can criticize it, laugh at it, and question it, and you not get upset, then you own the belief, right or wrong, good or bad. But if you get triggered by what somebody says about what you believe, that belief owns you. So I stayed in that mindset of every time a belief would come up, oh, I may not be able to write again. That doesn't love and serve me. Boop, off the table. All right. What if I can't speak again? That's my livelihood. That's my passion. That's what I'm great at. It's, no, that doesn't serve me. I'm going to speak again. And I changed the belief. And it takes work, because you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, why am I holding on to anything that does not love and serve me? A belief, a concept, an idea, a grudge, anything. So I realized how important it was to just release and let go of, I won't call them negative thinking, but I'll simply call them unloving and unserving thinking. So whatever you believe, you're entitled to your beliefs. I'm not questioning your beliefs. I'm only saying that if you start to question your own beliefs and filter it through the lens of, is it loving and serving me and the people I love and serve? If it is not, why don't I release it? And if I can't release it, then I have to go inside and say, okay, what What am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of holding a grudge against somebody who did something, cut me off in traffic 20 years ago? So I think a lot of us, I hate to say it, we're all addicted to something, right? We're all addicted. Some of us are addicted to suffering. And I would say to the people that are addicted to suffering, whatever your God is or no God, you were not put on this earth to cause suffering and to be in suffering. And if you could just release that part of your life, it creates a space for you to put something better in there. And that's healing. And that's good thinking and getting around people who support you and tuning into shows like this that uplift you and make you realize that you're not stuck. My brother said to me once, he was in such pain after an operation, and I was going through a tough time. And he said to me, Mitch, you can't let disappointment define you. And there he is with a face distorted, drinking, can't talk, writing through a machine. I'm saying,
oh my God.
Okay, I get that message loud and clear.
You know, God, I cannot express to you what you just laid out there. I can't forget up. For some minute, I myself am going back and watching the show because if I was to summarize everything you said, that most stroke survivors do not believe, which I, as CEO of Stroke TV Media, believe, and makes me different. And that obviously makes you different. That you control your destiny. You actually decide that doesn't serve me, I'm getting rid of it. And so many stroke survivors believe that they need to stay in the victim mode. And they don't realize they're stronger than they think.
You know, courage is something I never thought much about because I'm not a daredevil and I don't, jump off cliffs. And I never thought I had much courage. But when you realize that, courage is the strength to do something that you fear or do something that's uncomfortable anyway. So, they say, somebody said, feel the fear and do it anyway. That sounds good.
Yeah.
But it takes a whole lot of courage. And I really think that you're never given any kind of setback that you cannot overcome. And the more severe your setback, the greater the breakthrough on the other side. You just have to decide in that gap between stimulus, what happened to me, and response. How am I going to respond? And that is all of life, whether it's, a fight with your spouse or a disagree, anything. Could I be angry? Yeah. Could I be victimized? Yeah. Could I cause more suffering? Yeah. But what good does that do me? It doesn't do the good for all the people I love and care about. And so the people that said to me, Mitch, how could you be so optimistic? How could you be so positive? It wasn't fake. It wasn't false. It's because I started to realize through the difficulty how much strength I really did have. And I never had to manifest that strength while I was kind of living normally. So is it a test? Sure, it's a test. But you can look at it as, look, every day I get up is a day of gratitude. I am appreciative for what function I do have, what faculties I do have, and I take nothing for granted. And so, it doesn't take a lot of shifts up here, actually one shift. You deserve to love and serve yourself and love and serve the people you love and serve. And anything that gets in the way of that, discard it. Just discard it. Let it go. And I think in some cases, letting go is harder than holding on.
I am, Mitch, right here is when I talked to you the first time. I was just amazed because what you're saying is so true for not just stroke, but if there's people that are listening that are not a stroke survivor. It relates to your life. And, it's react or response. And you can sum everything in life. I don't care if it's an argument with your wife or argument with your child or whatever. You're either responding or you're reacting. You're on the two. And I hope that everybody out there hears you can choose. You have a choice. You could need a light stroke destroy you, leaving a pet. And I see many, Mitch. I see many stroke survivors around the world. It's not easy. I didn't want people out there to think what Mitch and I are discussing is easy. It is. It's almost training, right, Mitch? You have to train for it.
Yeah, it's not easy. But are there very many things in life that are worthwhile that are easy? So you can either look at yourself as a victim, or you can look at yourself as a role model. And so what's going to happen as far as how people remember you, they're not going to remember you for having the stroke. They're going to remember you for how you responded to the stroke. So when I meet new people, I don't tell them I had a stroke. I don't tell my story. Many people would not know that I ever had a stroke if they met me. And my speech today is so much better than it was within the first few months after the stroke. So I didn't want to even come out in public, but I went on Facebook and I just let people know, hey, I'm making progress. And they supported me. I'll tell you, it was like getting lifted up on a magic carpet to see all the people that you didn't think would come out in support of you. My son put an amazing post, a series of posts on Facebook for me. And the response was, it brought tears. He told me, go look at your Facebook after my second brain surgery. And I'm telling you, it helped me get through just to think, wow, what would all these people do without me? Right? You start to realize that it's not selfish. It's selfish to go into a room and hide and stay away from people. That's selfish. What's not selfish is coming out and being not public about it, because I don't want people to pity me. I want people to encourage me. I'm the CEO of my company, but I'm not the chief executive officer. I'm the chief encouragement officer.
Great. That's great.
And I've had that. I came up with that 30 years ago. And I had to turn it inward. I had to be the chief encouragement officer for myself. And that's not easy to do. But having all the people in the world that basically say, what would this world be without you? If you spent a little time realizing how many people in your life would miss you and do miss you because you're not giving it your all, you're cheating yourself and you're cheating them. So I encourage everybody who's listening to this. I know it's not easy, but good things are not easy. And what I realized, I had to make incremental progress. Not big every day, a little bit better, go forward, stop, never had a setback. And even if I didn't get a full day in, I didn't think, because it was just a day off. All right. We're entitled to a day off. So you are right from the very get-go. What's up here will either make you or break you. And you control that. And if you give up control of your mind, you give up control of the direction of your life. You gain control of your mind. You filter all your thinking and beliefs through, is this loving and serving me and the people I love and serve? If not, boom, let it go. And you can discard so much of the toxic negativity in your mind when you realize how it's holding you back. And you deserve better. And I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to applaud you. I'm here to support you. And if anybody wants to reach out to me who's listening to this, please do send me an email, find me on Facebook, communicate with me, and I'm happy to be part of your support system.
Wow, I love it, brother. It's so awesome. But we're down to the end of the show, but podcast. But I do want to ask you, if people want to get out to you, what's your email address?
It's my full name, Mitchell Axelrod @gmail. All right. Or you can go on my face. I would direct people to one video I produced years ago. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called Bursting the Belief Bubble. If you watch that video, it's about 45 minutes. You can watch it at 1.5 speed. I have watched that video every year. My own video, which I hate to watch my own video, because it helped me realize that if I gain control of this up here, there's nothing that can stop me. And if I don't gain control of how I think, what I think, then every little thing will stop me. So that video, one of my clients said she not only watched it twice, she made her husband watch it. It was so good. So go to my YouTube channel, watch Bursting the Belief Bubble. It will change your life.
And we will put this in the show, but we will put a link, because Mitch and I am recording this early and broadcasting live. But we are going to be watching with you at the show at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Stroke TV Media YouTube channel. But we will put a link. I'll put all links to YouTube channel Mitch talking about, the video, everything. Mitch, I cannot thank you enough for being here. You have blessed me, brother. I appreciate it.
And you bless everybody you touch. For what
all right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. That's it. Thank you very much for the great show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you later. And remember, you're not a victim. You respond. How you respond to stroke is what your life will become. So you are the master of your destiny. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you, Eric.
Like what you just heard, visit c-suiteradio.com. C-Suite Radio, turning the volume up on business.